the consistency thing for a lot of people is, I want to do something, I don't know what to do. So moving from nothing to something is hard in some factors, but to make it easier, if you climb the consistency ladder, using market impacts reports as an example too, right? Okay, great. You start with something simple. And then as you get consistent doing that, you add a little layer, another layer, another layer. And as you get better at these things, you look for other ways to automate certain things, whether it's using new AI tools or hiring somebody to help you do stuff, because that will allow you to be consistent, which gets into our time available to communicate with our people.
Welcome to 10 Tenths, coaching real estate agents out of burnout into high-performing businesses to fuel their life. Matt, good morning, sir. Welcome back. We're excited to be with all of you today. We've got a great topic for you. For all of you tuning in and listening right now, we have an amazing community. You can come and join us, be part of our world. Matt, we also have a webinar coming up that we're going to be offering.
Yes, we do.
I don't actually have the dates in front of me right now. I don't know if you have it in front of you.
Friday, April 17th, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, we are going to teach the engagement engine, which is the framework on how you can build a communication plan to engage your sphere and even maybe attract some new people into your world that is completely customized to you. And this is totally free, Garrett. It's a free webinar. You just go to our site, 10tenths.co, spell that out, and you will find it there. Plain and simple.
Matt, thanks for having my back on that one. I had a moment where I was like, oh, I want to announce it, but I don't have all the details. There you go. It is free. Come and join us. Our engagement engine is one of our foundational pieces that help you understand where are you supposed to be spending your time with your people and your database to get the most out of the business that you're building right now. And again, so you can be as efficient as you possibly can to go and have the life that you want to have. That's what this is all about. But Matt, today we're going to talk about consistency. We're going to talk about consistency in business because we watch agents all the time that one, when they show up and they start being consistent, they don't give themselves credit to be like, did I do that? Like, did I create that? It must have been the market. It's got to be some outside influence. That probably makes more sense. But then also when they are consistent and this big business ramps up, a lot of times the consistency starts to fail. And then they go, well, what changed in the marketplace? Like, did something else happen out there? Did this change? Did interest rates, did they change? Like, what's going on? And they don't give also the credit back to they stopped doing the systems that made the business happen. Consistency is the number one thing in this game that a lot of people don't give enough credit to. We're going to talk about it today. So Matt, Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning to you. And I'm excited to talk about this because it does align with the engagement engine very well, obviously, because if you have that tuned up and you stay consistent with it, you're going to see consistent business. But there are some misconceptions, I guess, about consistency. But at the same time, if you can develop consistency in the right areas, it becomes impossible to compete with because every day that you're consistent, it's just another day that someone else then needs to catch up when we're looking at competition. And you're right. Like a lot of times people are consistent and they see results pretty quickly sometimes. And they're like, oh, it must have not been me. It must have been something else. It's like fitness. They're like, gosh, it wasn't that I was going to the gym and eating healthy. It was because the moon was in the, 7th trimester of Apollo Creed and they sent down this light beam that just somehow eliminated the fat in this portion of my body for this week. And that's really what was going on.
Well, so I love it when somebody all of a sudden will engage their database. They'll start making phone calls and the run of business will come in and the words that will come out of their mouth are, do you think it's the phone calls? I'm like, well, where are the pieces of business coming from? Well, it came from that. Well, I guess it is connected to all the phone calls I was making. Do you think if I do this normally, like this, do you think that was just like a fluke that happened right then? Or do you think it would be I could actually predict this if I kept doing it regularly? Oh my gosh, it's crazy how little credit we give ourselves over the results that we produce. And this is where consistency comes back in. So Matt, I was thinking about this. We've talked on prior podcasts about my triangle that I like to kind of look at, where to build a referral relationship business, there's one of these three sides that you basically have our corners. You have your energy, your personal energy, you have the database and people that you know, and you have this marketing piece that goes out that makes people go, oh yeah, and they they're a real estate agent or they're a mortgage broker or whatever it is. But it's all three of these things. And really what it is, you need to be consistent in all three of these areas. And I want to give kind of a quick example about this is like, if it's energy, if one day I get you, Matt, and I've got pumped up Matt, I got awesome Matt. I'm like, whoa, he's got such great energy coming off of him. And then I talk to you a week later and I'm like, that's weird. His energy seems off. He seems a little down. Doesn't quite feel like Matt. And then a week later, ooh, I think I got Matt again. That inconsistency in energy throws off people's ability to refer. It kind of big questions, kind of like, how much time do we want to spend around that inconsistency? Is that comfortable? Does it cause stress in my world? Again, go to your database. And a lot of people, when they think of consistency, Matt, they think we're talking about like, oh, consistency with making phone calls, consistency with writing notes, consistency with fill in the gap. It's a part of it. And yes, you do need to have the consistency there. And then you go into your marketing and messaging that's going out that helps people understand the value that you bring to the table. And Matt, how often do we find people that are like, I got busy, so I stopped doing my postcards? We just had Jenny Egger on. She said, I've been so busy, but the thing that has kept my business going is my postcards, the consistency with that. But it can't just be that. And this is where I think we need to kind of look at this as like, there's areas here that you need to be consistent in, not just one, but when you unlock consistency in all of them, it's where miracles happen. It's where miracles happen.
It is really amazing. And I will empathize with everyone in that. Like this, they're like, well, this sounds hard. Yeah, it is hard, right? This is the hard work of the business. And this is why having a plan is so important, and having like, okay, here's my foundational things that I do. And this is where I think a lot of people get caught in this inconsistency cycle, so to speak, because they'll fill all their time, Garrett, with one thing. Like, this is what I'm going to do to develop business. And then business comes in and they lose the time doing that thing, but they've only set that thing as the thing that generates business. Yep. So now they're doing the business and they just stop, whatever that is, versus having a foundation of things that will keep business going, and then also acknowledging that when we have business, there's consistency that I can engage right in there too, that is going to allow the business and the referrals to keep coming. Yep. And I love that you brought in your triangle here, because we so overlook our own personal well-being as part of this. And when you look at your database too, if we have consistent marketing going out right to everyone, and there is maybe consistent engagement, but the few times a year you engage the C's and D's in your database, your energy's off. Like, yeah, they may not be referring you out. They maybe will come back and do business with you. And so this is the hard part of like, hey, every time we are picking up that phone, we got to be ready to go. And I understand we need to give ourselves grace and all that stuff sometimes. Believe me, like this year alone has been filled with, Matt, you need some grace. I've also acknowledged that because of that, my own performance has dwindled a bit, right? I can't expect to see the same results out of that performance as I would if everything was just like, dialed in, perfect, consistent, and all of that stuff. So there is some self-awareness that plays in this, Garrett, but that personal component and being consistent in how we show up. Because if you show up, this is the other thing too, Garrett, if you're consistent in showing up, then it's going to be more consistent of your execution, which is going to start to stack those days, right? And to give this like a visualization of like, how is consistency impossible to compete with? What episode is this for us? We're coming up. We're not quite at episode 200 yet for this podcast. We're getting close. But we are probably, we're getting close to 1,000 episodes together, yep, Garrett, total in podcasting. If you're starting a new podcast today, that's really hard to compete with in terms of number of episodes. But we've been doing it twice a week ever since January 2019, 2 episodes every single week, and even some bonuses every single week for 7 years, right? That's what consistency looks like. And we got to get excited about our business in that way, Garrett, too. I find that some people just don't get excited to show up in those consistent patterns and see what are the compounding effects. Instead, they're like, I just need to cram everything in and try to make some results happen right now.
Well, if you look at the business planning that we just did back in October, November, like that whole thing is built around how can we build consistency into this year? We walk through in there. How do you look at your calendar? How do you look at your schedule? How do you build consistency for your life so you're going out and you're enjoying the world that you're creating? How do we create consistency with the systems that we're going to be showing up for? So we have everybody create a week, an aligned week for themselves to say, like, these are the things I got to show up for. And if I do these things consistently, it's pretty hard for results not to happen. And then we talk also, Matt, about affirmations, gratitude. So you said it's hard, but I also stop and go, but are we really using our time efficiently? Are there times that we sit and doom scroll on social media stuff where if we had just used that time a little bit differently, what if I directed that time towards my affirmations, my gratitudes, and maybe meditated? Would it be better for me or worse for me? Probably better. We can probably assume we're going in the right direction with that. Well, if I took the time to say, well, what if I took a little bit of that time and I made it for phone calls to my database, to my sphere of influence? Is that time available? We've talked about time audits, and this is one of those moments of like, should I do a time audit? Because if I want to build in consistency into all these areas, a lot of it is just going like, what are the activities that I need to have around it? Energy, gratitudes, affirmations. And again, I'm not a huge meditator. I used to be a big meditator. But again, that allows me to get my hands on that energy and go like, I'm in control of it. It's not the outside world. When you are doing your affirmations and your gratitudes, Matt, crazy things can happen around you. And your brain, instead of going, I'm part of that over there, your brain goes, but we've been working so hard on being just inside of my world right now. Like, I'm going to be okay. I can detach from that a little bit. That's somebody else's thing they've got going on. I'm actually in control of my world. And so I know I'm kind of going down some different paths here, but like this is you taking control and taking ownership of it. And so as much as I hear you say, Matt, it's hard, there's another side of me of just going like, yeah, but do you really even know what you need to be doing? Because I don't think it's that hard. Gratitude affirmations, not that hard. Finding a little time every week to make phone calls, not that hard.
I think it's the identifying of it, which does make it hard. Right. And again, I think hard is a subjective thing. And I've gone through phases where I'm like, we shouldn't even just use this word because then we're validating things. At the same time, I think we also feel really good if we overcome hard things. Right. And so I think when you look at the hard, it's not once you get going, it's like pulling a car onto the highway, right? The engine is working harder as you accelerate to get onto the highway. But once you have it locked in sixth gear, now we have seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th gears. I can't wait for the 11 gear transmission. That'll come out. Soon it'll be like,
variable.
What gear are you in?
It's a variable transmission. There's no gears then. Keep going. Sorry.
Well, then you can do that too. Well, yes, of course. But then the car is not working as hard to be moving at a faster pace. Like, I don't find us showing up and doing our podcast twice a week very hard.
Nope.
In the beginning, it was because it was new. There was a shift. There were things that you're learning. And I think and so when I say it's hard and changing behaviors is hard, right? Identifying what is the minimum performance standard to build a strong foundation is also hard because people are looking for evidence from other people. They're like, why? Well, okay, Matt and Garrett, we're 10 minutes into this. How come you just haven't told me the things I should do and stay consistent with those things? Because it is going to be different for everybody. That's where the engagement engine comes in, right? Yep. It's identifying what are the components for you. Because like Jenny Yeager, since you mentioned her at the beginning of the podcast there, she's also outrageously consistent with her church and connecting with her fellow members of her congregation and just showing up as a good person and a good friend to all of those people, which is also likely driving a good amount of business for her. And she is consistent in that. That doesn't require 8 hours a day of input and energy. It's part of who she is. And this is the thing, if we can look at those things now, yes, tying some metrics and saying, hey, there are some other things. But if you have here's what I can do that's going to grow business. And then here's the things I can do extra when I don't have business coming in. And then when business coming in, I need to make sure I'm doing these things. Then now we're building this consistency, which is centered around the identity, Garrett.
Well, and I 100% agree with you. And I think, and going back to this word hard again, I think a lot of us make it hard We don't even realize we're doing it up front, but we want it to be like, it's got to be grand. It's got to be awesome. It's got to be huge. It's got to be so incredible. And so you take something like, and I'm going to start easy with like gratitudes. I know some people are like, oh yeah, I sometimes do gratitudes. Like I used to do them better than I do them now. But I mean, and I'm like, well, what got in the way for you? And they're like, well, I've got my list of gratitudes. So I have a book that I sit down with and I write out every gratitude, and it's always the same, but I write them out over and over and over. And again, it's like, okay, great. Like what gets in the way of that? Well, I got to get the notebook out. I got to sit down. It's a thing that I got to do. And I'm like, what if you just closed your eyes and just real quickly said out loud to yourself all the things you're grateful for in your life, and then you moved along with your day? That's a 30-second activity. You got no pen, you got no paper. And it's, by the way, it's better than you not doing your gratitudes at all. So we have that. I have people trying to do market impact reports. A lot of our listeners might know those as real estate reviews out there. Our version of it is the market impact report. And the market impact report, I watch people to create this thing, and it's color and it's binded and it's amazing and it's all this stuff. And then the minute business starts to pick up, it's one of the first things that drops. It was a great idea. I got a bunch of them out, but I'm not consistent with it. And I was just talking with an agent yesterday. I said, what if it was just a cover letter that said, it was so cool catching up with you the other day. You had some amazing questions about the real estate market. I thought I'd send over just a couple comps to compare to your house. Love to know your thoughts on it. Love to know how you feel like these compare to your property. Let me know if you have any questions. Can be a market impact report. We now are going like, do I need to make it that hard, or am I making it that hard so that now I can't be consistent with it? And I think having some options, there's a lot of things in our life we think are hard because we just don't know. And I'll end it on this, Matt. There was a moment I was talking with my wife. We were talking about a motor in a car. And this guy had built this motor.
Surprise.
Oh, I know.
Surprise.
It had all these
talking about a motor.
components stacked on this motor. The motor was huge. It was bigger than the car almost. And it's funny for someone who has no idea what's happening inside that motor. Now, that motor, I've built all the components inside that motor. I know everything happening in there. I know where the valves are. I know the valve springs. I know the lifters. I know where the cylinders. I've got all the components, all the little bearing pieces. I get it. That damn thing, now that it's all big, it's the same thing. For someone who doesn't know, they think there's like more moving parts in there and more stuff and more. It's like, no. It's exactly the same thing, just a different size. That's all it is. There's not more stuff going on inside there. And I think for a lot of people, when they don't know, their brains can make up all these things that then stop the forward movement on it. And this kills consistency a lot of the time. So I'm a believer in simple. You want to do gratitudes, make it as simple as possible. You want to do market impact reports, consistency, make it simple. You want to talk to your database regularly, don't try to talk to 500 of them. Pick the 50 and go like, I'm going to be consistent with that group. Not all of them. If I do want to write handwritten notes, let's get some simple ways that we can do it, that we can make that happen. And that's one that I don't lean into, but the people that do it and write the novels, which are powerful, I guarantee you, the minute things get crazy, there's no novels are being written. They just drop the notes altogether.
Well, and I want to get into this communication kind of consistency thing. But before that, you kind of brought up an idea of the consistency ladder, right? Starting off with something that you can build a habit around that's simple, and then it can enhance over time, right? Because arguably our podcast, different things have gotten better over time. You know, the sound quality, the video quality, the editing quality. We added YouTube, right? So we've added components as we've gotten consistent at certain things, which made it easier to add those things on, right? Because and the concept of easy and hard being subjective is can be completely binary, right? Because ultimately the easiest thing to do is nothing, right? It's very easy to just lay down and do nothing, right? There's not a lot of effort that goes in that. It's harder to stand up and do something. And I think that's where it gets into the consistency thing for a lot of people is, I want to do something. I don't know what to do. So moving from nothing to something is hard in some factors, but to make it easier if you climb the consistency ladder, using market impacts reports as an example too, right? Okay, great. You start with something simple. And then as you get consistent doing that, you add a little layer, another layer, another layer. And as you get better at these things, you look for other ways to automate certain things, whether it's using new AI tools or hiring somebody to help you do stuff, because that will allow you to be consistent, which gets into our time available to communicate with our people, which is the biggest issue we see a lot of people bring up. Well, now I'm so busy, I don't have time to talk to my people anymore. Oh, well, who are you talking to when you're so busy? Well, all these clients that I'm working with. That's communication with people, right? If your engagement engine is built around having a certain number of phone calls or a certain number of face-to-faces, does it matter if it's, the D's in your sphere or your active clients, right? If you're still hitting the number of communication points, you're following your own plan that you've set forth. Now, if you've overwhelmed yourself by loading up too many people, like, yeah, I got to talk to 500 people every single month. It's like, okay, and it's got to be these 500 people. All right, well, that doesn't leave much room for other people to come in. So we maybe want to adjust the standards so that you can have a level of consistency that does have the opportunity to compound. And this is also where it's like, well, maybe I need to have somebody else do this touch point over here. Like when I get super duper duper busy and I have, 50 clients I'm handling at once and we have all these escrows that are going on, maybe we have a client care specialist who's preparing the market impact reports, and maybe they're even calling and setting up the appointments to do those market impact reports. I'm not saying that you have to outsource your communication, but if you don't have time to do it, then now you're just talking about it not happening, which is the worst case scenario. So it's being super aware of the time capacity and support and what is the baseline and where is the extra coming in. Because Garrett, I don't know about you, but if I have an agent who's got a ton of business going on and they're consistent in doing their customer service calls every week, they're talking to those people, they're talking to all the other people that are affiliated with the transaction, like title, lending, and home inspectors and all this stuff, they're probably going to generate a lot of referrals out of that. And if they stay consistent in that space, they're going to see an amazing business.
Oh yeah. When you made the comment about kind of laying down and then just stopping it altogether, and that's self-preservation, by the way. So any of you that have experienced that, where you got consistency in something and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 months since I've sent a postcard out. It's been 2 months since I've sent a review out. It's been 2 months since I've picked up the phone and made actual, honest to goodness, real phone calls into my database. A lot of that is self-preservation, and it usually is because you're walking this burnout place. You're out of alignment in your world. And this is where it's good to take a look at those systems and say, look, something is better than nothing. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, something is always better than nothing. Is there power in doing the gratitudes at that level? But what if I just stopped and just thought about all the people and all the things I'm grateful in my world for 30 seconds? The reviews. That I do think there's power in a whole, printed cover, all this kinds of stuff. And I think it's one of those things that can stand for your brand and people can go, whoa, look at what is being produced here. And the other side of it is not having any of those go out because we've created something that we can't be consistent with, which is what I watch a lot of people fall into that trap of, which then it's, again, how can we simplify it down? Because I can't tell you how many people, if I went and walked my neighborhood right now, I would be surprised knocking on doors to say, do you have a real estate agent that actually annually provide you information that shows you how many homes just like yours that have sold recently and how they compare to your house and kind of where the prices kind of are running out there right now? I bet you the answer will be almost none. All right. So if we know that, instead of not doing them at all, what if we simplified it down to something we can be consistent with? And these are the things that I really want people to take out of this episode right now is what are those things that I can see when it breaks down? They're really powerful for my business when I'm consistent with it, but I don't have it set up in a way that I can always be consistent with it. That review that I was just talking about, the impact report done that way with a cover letter and some comps, I have an agent right now. I'm meeting with their assistant. I'm like, look, use AI, build out a standardized cover letter that is just a nice note, put the name on the top. Great chatting with you this week. I thought you might enjoy this information. And I'm like, look, you as the agent, pull some comps. I know you don't trust your assistant to go run comps, but you can. Grab the comps, you know their house, give them to the assistant, have your assistant mail it out, and then have the assistant say, hey, Matt, I just sent that out to the Johnsons. And then all you got to do is pick up the phone and be like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm sending something in the mail to you. I hope you like it. Let me know if you have any questions. Done. That's a process that can be done really easy. It's very little time involved. Look at all these things because a consistent business is untouchable, Matt. We think there's these big waves in the industry out here, and we're kind of like, yeah, but we have a seasonal market, and sometimes there's a lot of business, sometimes there's no business. You got to understand that about our market. More often than not, it is you. You are the cause of the waves of the business.
You are the seasonal.
There's little bits of seasonality. I get it.
Sure. There's
little moments, but you know what? Divorces, they don't wait around for winter or summer and be like, you know what? Now it feels like the right time. This is divorce season. You don't see that. There are times of the year, I guess, where people get married, but people fall in love all the time and want to start a life together. Like that happens. Babies being born. There's waves. There are some definite waves out there, but for the most part, there's babies born. I mean, I've been in the hospital. Matt, I don't know about you. We both have spent a lot of time in the hospital.
I was there again last night.
Every hospital out there plays was it Brahms' Lullaby? When a baby's born.
Oh, I don't know. There's no music in the hospital that I've been
ours
attending.
Plays Brahms' Lullaby every single time a baby is born in the hospital. Doesn't matter where you are in the hospital. And yeah, I'm like, man, babies are being born all over the place all the time, every day.
Well, I mean, that identifies just minimum performance standards. If you don't have a minimum performance standard, or if you're setting it too high, right? And this is the consistency ladder. You start with one MPS, and minimum performance standard means it's minimum, but it still performs, meaning it helps you grow, right? Which a market impact report is a great example, because I would argue that every agent has the time or the funds to generate and distribute 2 of those a week. Right? If you don't have the time, you certainly have the ability to outsource it, because if you really don't have the time, that means you're doing a lot of business. And if that's not the case, then it's choices, which that's okay too. Just accept them as your reality, right?
You know what's really cool though, Matt? So my little triangle. So you got the energy, you got the connections with your people and your database, and then you got this whole thing of like, what is your value you bring to the table? Market impact reports hit 2 of those. They hit 2 of them. And if you decide to bring awesome energy when you pick up the phone and be like, oh guys, it was so great connecting with you last week. I love when I get a chance to like hang out with you guys. So much fun to watch the kids play soccer together. I'm sending over something. I want to know what you think about it. If you have any questions, just for fun. But it's spurred from the conversation we were having on the field the other day. You now have attached your energy into it also, your excitement of wanting to help them. So we got excitement, we're connecting with our database, and we have a real estate piece going out. This is why I love those things. So like, if you're going to take time to be consistent with anything, do that. Do those over and over and over again.
Gosh, and hey, Garrett, yeah, I did this report for you. It's okay. Like, that's not gonna be...
I think actually the worst energy that can happen is that one is we're coming at it with the wrong intention. We're coming at it with, okay, I'm going to do this for these people because if I do it,
and they're going to list their house.
They're going to maybe list their house with me. I could possibly get a piece of business out of this. And then we get this little piece inside of us that feels like we're being salesy. And now we're making a phone call and we're going, hey, Matt, so I created a report for you when you remember we were talking about real estate you brought up your home, and I put together I'm not trying to get you to sell your home or list your home. Like I'm not that. I just wanted to, give you something there. I don't know. If you find value in it, just let me know. That's shitty, excuse my language. That's crappy energy. Like that is not coming with value. That's not coming with confidence. That's not coming with excitement. I'm not looking at how to make your world better. I'm actually maybe thinking about myself a little too much, and I'm trying to protect it from being a salesperson. Like, these are these moments like, let's focus on what our intention is. Let's bring the best energy we possibly can. We have great information that anybody who owns a home out here actually likes to know. And I'm a big believer, Matt, in bringing up when the client or the person that you're with brings up real estate, all kinds of doors are open. And that's what I was just leaning into. There's somebody who actually brought up real estate, doors open all over the place to be like, hey, I thought you might enjoy this. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Consistency though, back to where we started this whole thing, Matt, right from the beginning, you cannot,
it's the ultimate competitive leverage.
Cannot compete with somebody who's consistent in anything.
You can't because when you stop, they're going to keep going, right? Even if you're together, you're up at the same level, you stop, they're going, right? Like, and if you're the consistent one, every time you're going, like they stop, you're going, they stop, you're going, right? Not only that, it's just always, it spirals up. Consistency always spirals up in a beautiful way. And your people will feel it. It's just, hey, identify that baseline for you, minimum performance standards, get Garrett's triangle in line here, and you're going to see good results. And you know, if you're still struggling, if you're like, gosh, okay, here's what I want you to do. Pick one thing, like, because if you're not measuring anything at all and you're like, I don't even know what I'm consistent with, then find one thing. Like, hey, what's one action? And maybe it is the market impact report, and just do one of them every week. Can you start there? Can you start by doing one market impact report each week from right now forever in your business? One a week. Let's see what happens. You are going to be astonished. All of a sudden, one turns into two turns into three. We have some people, Garrett, that are, creating, distributing dozens a week. Market impact reports.
I had somebody the other day go, do you think one's enough? I'm like, it's better than none that you're doing right now.
I mean, it's an infinite improvement. I mean, it's crazy, right? Well, should I just do one more? Man, that would be a 100% increase. That's incredible. Like, it definitely is gonna be better. So, and if you guys want more from there, if you're like, hey, like I still want more. I want more ideas. I want more energy. I want more of what is going on here from this podcast. Well, one, you guys can watch us on YouTube if you're not already, so you can feel the visual energy, but also go download our app. Search for our app in the App Store. Life at 10 Tenths is the app, or 10 Tenths. Some things going on there in the App Store there, but just download the app. You'll know it when you see it, because Garrett's name and my name are on it. And join our community right in there. If you want a little bit extra content, you can join the Inside Track, where you get a massive community. It's incredible. Lots of great discussions going on there. And you can even step up to group coaching if you want, which is where all of some incredible stuff happens, right? We calls every single week. That was inspired a little bit of our conversation today with what Jenny was sharing, which inspired a lot of people in our call this week, which was really cool. But we'd love for you guys to join us, and we're here for you if you need anything else, because we believe that your business should not consume your life. Your business should fuel your life, not consume it. So not consume your life, fuel your life. That's what we're all about. So guys, check us out, 10tenths.co. We love you, and we'll see you on the next episode.
I love it. Bye, guys.